BBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to The Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Now, it is very clear that this week, come the 15th, Ugandans will go to the polls to elect their president, the 10th president of the Republic of Uganda, but also members of parliament directly, and also those that are district women representatives. So we shall have the districts in Uganda each elect a district women representative, but also those that come in on direct ticket, that is not ring-fenced, because for the district woman seat slot, you must be a woman to take it on. But of course, other constituencies, if not that particular, a man or a woman can contest for that. And we know very much that we must keep our tabs closed to know what is actually you need to do, what you need to know before going to that Benson, but also look at why really must I vote? You know, why do we have even elections after 5 years? Why? So joining me to answer some of these questions, I have Ben Muhingo, who is a development analyst, team leader to Tunaweza Initiative. He's with me, and we are going to be breaking down some of these things and letting you know actually why you really should participate in the ongoing process. Ben, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and glad to be here. Good morning, viewers. Hopefully we are going to have a wonderful time.
Well, before you go any further, you're a team leader at Tunaweza Initiative.
Yes.
For the good of my viewer, please throw more light for them to better understand the guest I'm having.
Okay. First of all, Tunaweza Initiative is a political pressure group that is NRM leaning. It comprises of entrepreneurs, the corporate class, and a mass grassroots structure. This Tunaweza Initiative has been around for 10 years. Full of volunteers. You know, in the political scene we have people we call mercenaries. Those ones work when there is money. We are missionaries. Nobody asks us to do anything. We love our country, we love our party. So we organize amongst ourselves and then go to mobilize and preach the gospel of NRM. That's what Tunaweza Initiative does. But besides that, I also do other professional things, which for purposes of this program may be not very relevant.
Okay, at least now people have a clear view of the guest I have in studios with me. Now, going direct to politics.
Yes.
It is our business. And now let's look at, first and foremost, this is not the first time that Ugandans are going to vote.
True.
And one of the things I was observing is even that our voting partner, I don't know for this time, keeps on reducing. If you look at how many people are registered voters, and how many of those voters vote on the voting day, the math doesn't math up. You find where you've not even had 73% of voter turnout. Now, Ben, first let's make it clear to Ugandans. Why are elections important?
Now, fellow Ugandans, democracy is a critical pillar of a country. Through democracy, through elections, politicians, political parties make a contract with people, with the population. Through elections, political players outline their manifestos, outline the plan for the country and the vision for the next 5 years. That is why elections are very, very important for the nation's development. You've had in some countries there are coups. Why? Because the population feels is kind of detached from the decisions made, and they are not involved. So elections allow us to get involved into the national affairs. When you don't vote, You are allowing some other person to make a decision for you. You have personal needs, you have national needs. How are these resolved? Through electing capable leadership. So, fellow Ugandans, if you think your neighbor is going to make a decision for you, you are very wrong. Let's get involved. For a country to develop, I'll give an example of Uganda. In 1986, our beloved president came to power. At the time, everything was kind of nationalized. Transport, health, education, everything, social services were nationalized. It was the state running this. A great leader with a great vision realized that this doesn't work. Let us liberalize the economy. Let's bring in private players to offer services that would be only offered by the state, but they're supplementing. That is a visionary leader who is anticipating the future and says the policy to do is this. Now, when you don't get involved, or you get involved without knowing the purpose for which you are voting, you are hindering the development of the country, because the leader has the mandate to create strategies, to have a vision, to push the country forward. And that's why over the last 40 years, even those who oppose this government, they know. Kampala, which was a city of 7 hills, is now how many hills?
So many.
So many. So it is important that we get involved. It's quite unfortunate that the voter turn-up is going down. But there are several factors. Voter differentiation comes out of the disappointment of people thinking, I voted, but my life didn't change. Why? Because most of our people think the state is supposed to look after you. The state provides the environment within which you work to prosper. The state run by the government must have policies, strategies that work for everybody. And that is the contract the party is signing with the population of Uganda. So you must listen carefully to people's manifestos. Not just about excitement, not just about slogans, but what are they doing? Our young people, when you speak to them, the challenge is jobs. How do we solve that? What contract are we signing? Which political party is coming up with the best possible strategies to create jobs in this economy?
Now, that is something very important that you've pointed out. But then it takes me to ask, do really Ugandans, both candidates and the electorate, focus on manifestos? I've attended quite a number of rallies. I've watched a number of rallies. Actually, me at such a time, I attend almost every rally that I get an opportunity to, because I want to get the messages from different political parties. But when you're at these rallies, you talked about Tunaweza being NRM. Now, most of the messages that are being talked and how we plan these rallies, one today it has become more of a music concert. Any of these rallies, I don't know for what reason musicians go to do, because if I've come to listen to a candidate, and we know campaigns end at 5, and from 2, they're musicians, then you give us 40 minutes of the candidate's speech. That beats my understanding. But you find that most it is music, most it is verbal artillery, you know. Others it is watering down and playing down others. What Museveni hasn't done for 40 years, what Museveni hasn't done, you know, those ones don't have So this issue of manifesto, are we focusing at it? Are Ugandans given the opportunity to even think, do they value it? Or are we going to have a campaign that is not, are we going to vote not issue-centered, not manifesto, out of excitement? I want your honest view.
You are spot on. My observation is, and not just in this election, but even past elections, not more than 15% of people who attend rallies actually go to vote or constitute the electorate that votes. So there are different reasons why people go for rallies. In some places, it's entertainment. They want to see a face they have never seen.
Fina Mugera, Ragadi, Kamidio.
People twerking, and you know that's a bit of excitement. It's free entertainment, by the way.
Yes, that they would have paid for expensive.
You won't fault them because elsewhere they would have paid for it. The critical thing is the structure through which the political party mobilizes. Tunaweza initiative, we have a manifesto which was launched by His Excellency the President for NRM. And the first thing we do as leaders is to sit down and look at every aspect of it. Now, we go through our structures and now tell our grassroots mobilizers, this is what government is proposing in terms of, in relation to infrastructure, to energy, to social services, to governance, to fighting corruption. It is a responsibility of the leaders to inform the masses what is in the manifesto. Now, where we have a problem as a country is the quality of these leaders. And we focus a lot on presidential and parliamentary elections, and we forgot this councillor. That councillor is supposed to be the gospel teller in the parish, in the village. Now, if that councillor is not even aware of what her or his party is promising to the Ugandans, then we have a problem. It is critical that each one of us understands the manifesto. We have a slogan this time, NRM, protecting the gains. And people are just looking at it very shallow, protecting the gains. And they are looking at what has been done in the past. No, but there is something that is being proposed to be done for the future. That is in the manifesto. That's why the NRM had an official launch of the manifesto. You saw it. Well attended by all leaders of the party. That's why we have a national delegates conference. That all these leaders who are working in the grassroots understand what contract we want to sign with the population. That is the importance of a manifesto. Now, if your party or your leader does not talk about the plan, that means either they don't have a manifesto or they don't actually believe in their manifesto. Ugandans, we need to play much more mature politics. You know, we adopted this Western democracy that plays in an environment where people understand. In the country, I think it's called Luxembourg. Luxembourg, you sit an interview before you register as a voter, so that you understand a bit of who is this one. Is he fit to vote? Does he understand how an economy works? Here, it's a little bit different. So we copied that Western democracy. But it's apparent and it's supposed to be the leaders of the party. For us, what we've done as Tunaweza, and even within Tunaweza, I can tell you we've had our very, very ardent supporters who come to us and say, but Mr. Ben, what do I explain to people about protecting the gains? What does this mean? And that's why for us, the leaders said, we cannot be everywhere. We created a website, it's kurujaja.com, where those gains are explained, where the plan going forward, where the manifesto is, to guide them that this is what it means. Because that's the contract. Because in 5 years, we want to be asked, NRM, we gave you a vote. What, you promised this, what have you done? So it is important. Your question about manifestos, I want to plead with our fellow Ugandans. Understand what your party stands for and what they plan. And the plan is in that manifesto.
Very important that you must understand your party's manifesto. And a Ugandan who is going to vote, it is very critical that you know what you're going to hold people accountable for. Otherwise, if it's just excitement, then what are you going to hold people accountable for? Now, also I want to bring this to you. We are going in an election. And of course, we're in a multi-party dispensation. Presidential, all of them are coming from parties. Below presidential, we've had a number of, I don't usually want to call them independents. Because my knowledge of English, and if I interpret very well the Constitution, the framers of the Constitution, what they meant as an independent is a person who didn't belong to any political party.
True.
Now, what we call independents today are well known the parties they belong to. Simply because one did not go through as a flag bearer, failed. Now they are alleging to be independent. Some of them, even their posters, you can see the parties they come from. Just that they will not have the bus, but the entire colors would be that. In this election, let's look at the impact of independence, the so-called independence. And connect that to party loyalty. You find President Museveni wins here, but then you find the area member of parliament is of NUP, the district woman member of parliament is of UPC, and we are in multi-party dispensation. Yeah. So the issue of independence, party loyalty and understanding, so that a person who belongs to a certain political party there must understand, if you're NRM, what must you vote? If you're NUP, what must you vote?
Interesting question, but let's get back to a bit of, I'm a scientist, so I don't understand a bit of history. But when the NRM took over, we had what we call individual merit. And I think there is a very sizable population that did not transform into multi-party democracy. I think a sizable. I know quite a number of people who will vote President Museveni and will not vote the NRM flag bearer because they've assessed the quality that yes, the other may be, but they are not up there. So there is that history of individual merit. Personally, I loved that system because you looked at the quality of the leader and you went there. Now, when because of external pressures and people were agitated, multi-party parties came. Now, these parties have structures, have the way they organize the primaries through which people get flag bearers. Let us agree. In the NRM, you saw many people disagreed with how. If you look at the number of cases in the tribunal, there are quite several because people felt, we have ministers who are standing as independent. We had, you remember the by-election in Chisoro? There is a flag bearer of NRM, there is an independent who is also NRM, and people go the independent because they know they can assess the quality. So people are stuck within that individual merit kind of system. Now, does the party have the ability to enforce that discipline that if I don't give you the flag, don't come? It's a little bit, because that mandate from the population that says, that one is the one who we want. Now, you have other parties like NUP, where it has been blunt and corruption open. People have, I heard Walukaga paid 300 million.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think when the Secretary General was asked, he said, you can make a show and you can recoup that. So that is a kind of a silent. I've also interacted with some NUP independents who clearly say, there was something for something to get that flag.
Yeah, we've heard of those allegations.
So now, you cannot stop such a person who's differentiated from standing as an independent. But you're right. I always laugh when they say somebody should be non-partisan. How can you be non-partisan when you're allowed to vote? Because the fact you're going to vote, you are partisan. But it's parties, it's a young democracy. All parties need to work on the party discipline, the loyalty to their party. But it also needs to work, all parties need to work on having fair elections for choosing flag bearers. In an open whatever. NRM can be blamed for something. And I saw Honorable Semuju saying you can blame NRM, but you can't fault them on their system, which is open in choosing flag bearers. I love that lining up. That's a good one.
It's not a vetting exercise.
It's not a vetting exercise, it's not whatever, and that's the strength of the NRM. Nationally, not a few people sitting there and doing whatever. So that has caused a lot of independence. If you look actually at the statistics, I think we have for parliamentary about 1,221 independent. They are much more than all parties combined. But it comes from how we choose the flag bearers. But if you are NRM leaning, we expect you to be preaching the gospel of NRM as you campaign. Even within Tunaweza, we have membership. We have members who are standing as independent. We talked to them. They said, I don't feel I lost fairly. And when you go on the ground, that person is very powerful. But going forward, we need to work and clean up and make sure the flag bearer elections are quite fair and transparent. And people come out feeling, yes, I was defeated fairly.
What does this mean? We had a referendum and we chose to go the multi-party way. What does this mean after 10 plus years in terms of building multi-party democracy?
I'll be very fair with you. we copy things wholeheartedly. So we copied this from the Western world. But some parties are personal cults. I'm sure you've gone somewhere and you find a poster, somebody is standing and put a presidential candidate because they want to be identified with that person. Without that person, they feel they cannot win an election. So are you standing as an individual or are you riding on the back or whatever? So it's really a weak multi-party dispensation, in my opinion. Is people still follow. There are people who will say, I support President Museveni. But then for mayor, I support somebody else. But I like President Museveni for ABCD. Now, that's where we are. However, even when you go to developed democracies, the USA, people are registered as Democrat and Republic, but there's a sizable number that does not have identified with any party. So that independent thing.
Recently, we saw Trump supporting another person for the mayor race away from
his own republic. So it is a global kind of phenomenon. But we need to work because through the party, like I said, it's the contract we sign with the people. The ideas. Politics is about ideas. It's about visions. It's about management of society. So the party together, you know, several heads are better than one, is the best vehicle to take the country forward, to develop the country, to have stability going forward. So we need to really, really work to strengthen these parties. But now, lastly on that, politics is about money now. You've seen people who have said we are not going to join iPod. As soon as the law changes a bit that now you have to get the money, you have to. They come to apply because it's about money. There are parties we know, some of the biggest parties, they are after getting MPs, targeting what comes out of iPod. Not because they really believe they can manage this country. And because of that, you're also having a lot of independents who think now politics is the best paying job. And that's something else we need to look at.
And indeed it is. You become a member of parliament, a district councillor, in a few months, life has changed. Definitely it is. Well, allow me to go for a short break now. When we return, we want to look at what Uganda's election means to regional integration, development, and peace. We'll return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
This December, all eyes in Morocco. Africa assemble. All dreams are heading one way.
Planetary movement aligning. All passion, all fire.
Because here we play different.
Choose your side.
Time to wake up.
Show your colors.
Bring your flag.
And we welcome you to Morocco. You guys ready?
Time to wake up. When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Electing your leaders at various elective positions is your fundamental human right. Here's how to cast your vote safely and correctly. Step 1. Go to the polling station where you're registered. Step 2. Present your national ID or voter location slip for officials to confirm your name on the register. Step 3. Your identity is verified using the Biometric Voter Verification Kit, fingerprint or face scan. Biometric verification is mandatory to ensure only eligible voters vote. Step 4. Your ballot is scanned and issued to guarantee it's valid. Step 5. Mark your choice in secret, cast your ballot and get inked. Polling runs from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Your identity protected, your vote secure. Turn up and vote. My vote, my voice.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and my guest this morning is Ben Muhingo, who happens to be a development analyst, team leader Tunaweza Initiative, with whom we are looking at the election watch, keeping momentum. Well, the D-Day is the 15th of this very month. That is this very week, come Thursday. Campaigns will officially end tomorrow, the 13th. And what then will be only left with going and casting a vote for the president and members of parliament. Now, there is so much that you need to know to ensure that you do not miss this opportunity. Voting in Uganda is voluntarily. No one is going to force you. But it doesn't give you power to speak of an election where you never participated as a voter. The outcomes, if you don't vote, then it is very polite and human that you lie low like an envelope, because you had an opportunity to participate, to choose your own leader, and for your own reasons you chose not to. There's a story I usually tell that happened to me, and Ben, let me share this story with you, because it is something that I may take long to forget. I was in radio newsroom, and we had a chief news editor. Now, it was an election like we are going into, and one of the candidates was Dr. Orara Otuno. So, usually in newsrooms, senior reporters, each is assigned a particular candidate. That for you, this is your candidate, right from when campaigns begin. So that it gives you deeper understanding of the person you're going to report. So my candidate was Dr. Orara Otuno. And I knew which polling station he was going to vote. You know, you have all this information. And maybe what time, so I was ready to cover him vote, cast his vote. Now, as early as 6, I was at my station with, of course, a few juniors attached to me. There were about 2, and we were waiting for my candidate. Now, every time they kept on asking, Chirabo, send in. The candidate, send in. What time has he voted? What words has he said? What? And I did my best. I couldn't locate the candidate I was supposed to report. So I told my senior supervisor that I'm not seeing the candidate. At a time reached and he told me, if you've not covered the candidate casting his vote, you know what it means in our career. This is where you're supposed to be at your best. Had you gone for lunch? Had you gone to ease yourself? I kept on saying the man has not surfaced until it was all over. Because I kept on telling them, few minutes to close, please declare. But of course, as UBC, we are accurate. It's not about breaking stories and then later have apologies and all that. So until it clocked closure of polling, that I announced that yes, he has not turned up to vote. And that pressure throughout that day is something I'll never forget in my profession as a journalist. So please don't do that to yourself. You're a registered voter, go and vote. Now, coming back to you, by the time we broke up, we were looking at what does Uganda's election mean to the region?
Now, as you know, Uganda is a member of the East African community, and our president has worked really, really hard to revive the East African community. Now, in the principles of NRM, the president always talks about Pan-Africanism. And people just, when we were at university, I was in the Nkrumah Hall, and we are called the Pan-Africanists, the activists, or SAJEFO. And it just seems to be a slogan, and people don't understand the depth of that. Love Africa. Why? We are 46 million Ugandans. How much can we eat? How much can we buy? You do need a wider market. I saw some people sometime, not visionary, complaining about a road being constructed in DRC because they didn't understand that opening that route alone can open $1 billion a year of trade. So regional integration is very critical for Uganda. We are a landlocked country. When there were riots in Kenya, how many trailers were coming here?
Very few.
What's the impact of that on our traders? Because in Kampala, where UBC is seated, the main activity is trade. And we have about 3 million people who come to Kampala every day, of which about 200,000 have shops. The rest, we call them abayiribi. They come, make a living through the day, go back home. Sometimes they even make more money than the owners of the shops. When that happens in Kenya, and those routes are blocked, the trucks can't move, you know what that means. When the war broke out in Sudan, how many Ugandans lost goods that were in transit to Juba? All were already in Juba. Therefore, Uganda cannot stand alone without the rest of the countries, without the East African community, without the wider African market. I had friends coming in from SADC, from Zambia and Malawi. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I said, long live President Museveni. They said, this economy is very strong. We've gone to the supermarket and everything is made in Uganda. Even TVs, even fridges, Hisense. I'm like, oh, wow. And surprisingly, in Blantyre, in Nilonge, in Lusaka, you find made in Uganda, in their supermarkets. So you can't survive without that market. So you need integration, and you must, as a country, work to make sure these countries are peaceful. And our president, that's why he's called the Lion of Africa, because he understands that Uganda to survive requires the support of other countries as a landlocked country. You see where our oil is going through, pipeline through Tanzania. So if you are at loggerheads with Tanzania, if Tanzania is destabilized, what's the impact of that to Uganda? That's why whenever you hear a leader who talks about anarchy, about chaos, shun that leader, because they don't understand. We are in elections. When you go and start shouting, we can fight policemen, we can fight the army, please look at what happened in Nepal. Very, 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 very weak as a leader. Because Uganda makes 1.6 billion from tourism. And where do the tourists come from? Yes, we have domestic tourists. How many Ugandans have been to Chobe Lodge, to Machon Falls? But it's the people who come from the region and outside of Africa. So you must have very good relations. You must have peace and security and stability to invite. When you want to create jobs, you need investment. That comes from foreign direct investments. Where does it come? That's why we have a Minister of Foreign Affairs. You have an embassy in Dubai or Abu Dhabi talking to the Arabs to come and invest here. You have an embassy in Kenya talking to Kenyans to come and invest here, looking for markets in those countries. That's integration. That's global integration. So you can't work in isolation as a country, especially a country like Uganda that is landlocked. So Ugandans, it is very important for us to understand that we can't live in isolation. The rest of the countries around us, we are brothers and sisters. We need them, they need us. For us, when we are growing up, we had Ndabirawa Kumatage Kenya Agatafa. That's a Luganda saying. Because all milk used to
come from Kenya.
To come from Kenya. Today, Kenya is chasing our milk. They're saying, you people are overproducing what? Milk. Because we need that market to sell the milk. We need that market. If you go to our brothers in northern and eastern Uganda, the maize, the sorghum, the millet, the
plenty of that, yes.
Plenty of that is coming, is going into Kenya, into Sudan. So we need that integration, and this election is key to that. Who amongst the candidates is strong on ensuring regional relations are strong, regional markets are strong, there is peace and stability in the region? Only President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Now, that said and explained that only President Yoweri Museveni has that vision for the East African community, and rightly said that any candidate that calls for chaos at such a time is also disrupting the economy, but also the region at large. Now, I want to take you to something very critical in this election, is people's trust in the Electoral Commission and electoral process. Recently, we've had the deregistering of some candidates. I vote from Machindye, and I will not be going to the polls to cast any vote in the mayoral race because 11 were deregistered. We saw in Busiro East, Matthias Walukaga, in West, and I hope all cases are dealt with before. And of course, they must be because the law gives that. Now, some have alleged that even given these incidents and some of the processes they feel maybe have not, in their opinion, have not gone on as they expected them to, that maybe the Electoral Commission may not deliver justice, may not give enough transparency, even have a whole presidential candidate who said that even if I win with 99.9, I'll not be declared president. You are an analyst. What do you make of this situation?
Allow me to borrow a Luganda proverb. Chiso chambuzi. Chiso chambuzi kerera omusi nechitunulira omubazi. The person who slaughtered the head, after that, the eye of a dead goat looks at the one now who is skinning it, who is removing the skin, and forgets the one who chopped the head. Now, when I was a little bit young, I used to watch a lot of local football matches. I have a colleague who supports Zimbabwe Heroes, others support Express. I was Sports Club Villa. Hardly was a match ever won in Uganda, and that team did not be alleged to have bribed the referee. All the players would have been bribed. So I think it's within our thinking and culture to blame when we don't. Now, let me start with the candidate who said that, and that's Bobby Wine. I'll be very clear. Mr. Robert Chagulanyi Sentam. By the way, I stay in the same area as him. Who said, even if I win 99%. Come on. How many MPs in constituencies did you present for election? We are in a multi-party dispensation, not so? So if out of 500 electable positions for direct woman MP or direct MP, you only have slightly over 200 seats. So then how do you claim you're going to win? Now, you are tarnishing the image of the Electoral Commission for your own weaknesses, which you need to admit. that as a party, as NUP or as a FDC, you have failed to organize, to be attractive, to attract candidates for all the positions. So there is that element.
Now, help me understand, and my view, where the connection is, because if I'm contesting as president, where is the relevancy for me having members of parliament, I mean people contesting as members of parliament, to my victory?
Okay. Let's put just the rallies we are having. Every presidential candidate is going to a district. Does a district have one constituency?
No.
It has several constituencies. Now, how do you organize? Because politics and winning is about organization from the grassroots to the top. So when you go into a district which has 4 or 5 constituencies, once you leave, or even before the rally, these flag bearers, these MPs standing on your ticket, are the ones mobilizing for you. These councillors are the ones mobilizing for you. So if you don't have people directly mobilizing for you down there, you cannot have an effective election and you get you win the election. Now, let us be very clear about that. Now, poor electoral commission, somebody instead of saying, people, members of the party, we are a young party, we goofed, we did not get candidates, so we are not everywhere on the ground. Forgive us. Vote for those the few we have brought. And maybe in 5 years we shall organize and see. You are now saying, even if I win, I will not be declared. That is wrong. That shows weak leadership as a leader. You can't entrust the country with such a person. Is the electoral commission clean? I don't work for the electoral commission. I've seen in social media, there are issues. I've even spoken to some of our supporters. Now, people look at the electoral commission and they look at Justice Byabakama and the commissioners. No, they have a structure up to parish supervisors. Then you have your polling agents, polling assistants, and whatever. So it's a huge machine. Now, where do we recruit these people? From our own society. I have a message from someone from Chikaya who sent me a message, a young boy, said, but how can they appoint a polling assistant who is a sister to a candidate? Will that be fair? But the person comes from, so you have to rely on the professionalism of that person who has been what? Appointed. So the electoral commission also has those challenges. How do you oversee such a structure? I can tell you, money exchanges hands, without no doubt. Because people believe if you see this parish supervisor and you tell him, you will have a bit of favor. We've had people changing results in declaration forms. Fortunately, there are mechanisms. Even our president alleged and said he has proof that Noop stole his election. They put extra ballot papers. How does that happen? Without the involvement of the polling assistant and the polling station's manager. So it is a society problem. Yes, the electoral commission needs to do probably more in capacity building. The candidates who have been rejected, I've seen they've gone to court. Not so? And courts have ruled. Now, the same electoral commission ruled in favor of Nakawa West. Now there it is independent. It is a very good electoral commission because in Nakawa West, it ruled that Council Bowe's issue does not hold water. When the High Court has sat and said, nah, there is no issue. Now the courts of adjudicature are independent. Where it suits them, where it doesn't, these institutions are working against us. That's not right.
Well, time seems to be flying and I must let Ben out of the studios. But before I do that, let me give him a minute or two for his parting shot, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chirabo. Fellow Ugandans, there's only one party that has articulated what it has done. The NRM has done a lot in social services. If you look at roads, 6,300 kilometers of roads built in the last 40 years compared to 1,000 kilometers built since Uganda became an electorate from 1894. 41 private universities plus 9 or plus public universities, UPE, Universal Secondary Education, 21 regional referral hospitals. The contract between NRM and the population has been fulfilled. Baganda say, Gwakanga Musana, Kachirota Buramu. Yes, there are things that can be done better, but we need a stable country. We need peace and stability to provide the platform to create jobs for our young people, markets for our people. We need to increase our purchasing power, parity in Uganda. We need the regional markets. We need good social services. Anyone, any candidate, and here I address directly Honorable Robert Sentam Chagulanyi, do not mobilize our young people to cause anarchy, because when you do that, you are affecting the farmer who is farming and bringing fruits to Kampala for sale. Vote wisely, vote good candidates, but most importantly, vote His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Ben, for your time, and above all, our viewer, thank you very much for being with us this morning on Good Morning Uganda. We began at 6:30, so thank you all the way till now. Now, important, all have spoken, all has been done, all has been spent. The power is in your hands to go and tick the candidate of your choice. It is your power. Yes, voting is voluntary in Uganda, but he who has not voted has no power to speak. So don't regret, don't speak after, because you have Thursday this week to go and cast your vote in favor of the candidate of your choice. Have the best of today. God bless you. See you tomorrow, God willing.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.